So, for pretty much my entire life, I've been accused by my mother as purposely sabotaging my chance at, the fairy tale happy perfect romance with someone of the opposite sex. Now, it ranges everything from I think farts are funny to I peed in the bathroom sink because I saw a spider. So I finally decided to make a video log of all of these things that my mother has told me, or just trying to do a little soul searching on my own and decide for myself why I'm single. And the more I thought about this and the more I write about it and talk to people about it, it's not that I date horrible people that take advantage of me, or I'm looking for love in the wrong places, or I just don't get out enough, or my job sucks, or I'm too fat, or I'm too thin, or my boobs are too big or too small, and blah, blah, blah. More often than not, girls, it's shit like peeing in the sink or laughing at a fart that either confuses men or makes them want to run away from you. So, come along with me for the journey, learn from my mistakes, hopefully, and try to keep these instances of freaking out and making men hate you to a minimum. All right. So when I first moved to Florida from Michigan, every last one of God's creatures seemed to want to help me assimilate to the area by scaring the ever-loving shit out of me. I had giant water-dwelling birds chasing me on the beach. I had those flying cockroaches that are like that big around and they're on kamikaze missions going right for my forehead. I had possums rubbing up on my leg while I'm outside trying to barbecue. And you know what? That was all in the first week. So I've been fairly traumatized. So I've been down here for about 7 years now, and that's long enough to encounter and deal with just about any kind of nasty anything Florida has had to throw at me. I even felt safe enough to buy my own house and settle down for a little bit. But that's only because I had no idea about the spiders. Now my beautiful new house, which I'm legally bound to pay for the next 9 years, is proven to be the haven for the largest, furriest, great big, crawlingest bastards I have ever seen in my life. No joke. Now, my never-ending saga with this breed of rideable beasts is well documented on Facebook. I've taken pictures, I've done updates, I've complained, I've whined. Any kind of trauma that I've been through, I have forced my friends to read about. And I've owned the house for a year and it has not gotten any easier. And if you don't believe me or think I'm exaggerating because I'm a little girly girl, look at these pictures and tell me you wouldn't scream like a little bitch if you saw one of these in your bed. Anyway, because they weigh like 10 pounds apiece, these spiders are absolutely unstoppable. And even if I had the guts or the just absence of any kind of barf reflex to step on them, I guarantee that they would take my shoe up with their little spider legs and set them aside and be like, huh, bitch, try again. So I don't really want to go through that. So I'm looking for other ways to get rid of these spiders. And Disney ruined my life at a very early age by convincing me that animals have souls and voices and they talk to each other and we should love them because they're just like furry little people. So I try not to kill them. I try to be friends. I try to reason with them. I used to try to trap them under Tupperware and slide a little piece of cardboard in and like run out in the yard and let them free. But that's a whole another traumatizing event in my life because they don't sit there and smile and be like, all right, lady, come and trap me in your plastic bullshit. No, they run like little eight-legged ninjas, and they're scary when they run. They're even scarier than when they're sitting there, and I'm just not dealing with it anymore. And I can't squish them, so I decided that my motto was going to be death from above. And I bought a can of wasp spray because I thought that would enable me to be far enough away where if they like spontaneously burst out with little spiders like I hear in all the horror movies or like jumped 20 feet at me, that I would be safe far away. Now, as you can imagine, there's really no ideal way to get rid of the spiders. I've had exterminators come here. These particular type of spiders are called huntsman spiders. They can flatten themselves out to nothing and get in anywhere. So if I got my house fogged or I get sprayed once every 3 months, it does not matter. They don't go away. So wasp spray is about the only thing that I've found actually does kill them without me having to step on them. But it traumatizes both of us. I'm not gonna lie. He's running around in circles, dying some kind of horrible, crinkled up wasp spray poison death, and I'm standing on top of the bathtub, screaming my lungs out until his final death throes are over. Which, because he's nearly the size of my cat, can take like 10 minutes, and that's a lot of screaming. But the trauma that I've suffered with the Florida stuff, the spiders especially, is like a whole separate chapter in the book of why I'm still single. But I figured this spider background was necessary, so you can understand why I ended up peeing in the sink this morning. So I find one of these giant spiders has decided to live in my toilet room. And I call it a toilet room because the rest of my bathroom is giant. Like, you could have a big old house party in there with a DJ and stripper poles and balloons and shit. I don't know. But whoever built the house decided it would be really funny to make the toilet about that big and wall it in the corner of my bathroom. So this is little tiny closet with a toilet. And it causes all sorts of problems with me because I'm claustrophobic, and anytime anybody poops, they're like trapped in there. But anyway, so I'm feeling good the first day that I'm in there, and I see the spider chilling on the wall, like about that big. And instead of running to my can of Raid, I just talk to him in soothing tones. And hey, buddy, what you doing? Come here often or whatever. And eventually he squished himself flat, and he squished into the molding around the pocket door. And since then, I like to believe we've called a truce, this spider and I. He only comes out when I'm not around, and I, in turn, don't force him to die the warrior's death that all his brothers had before him. Knowing that, it was my mistake, stumbling out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning to use the bathroom. Looking back, I probably should have called out a warning or sent a scout party with a letter in ahead of me asking for permission to encroach on his timeshare. But as someone who works second shift, I'm in the middle of a damn REM cycle at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not capable of anything past primal thought. And at that point, it was wake, pee, wipe, flush, wash hands, sleep. There was no logic going on. So here I am, like half dead. I'm shuffling really slow in the dark across the bedroom into the bathroom, and I'm just seeing like shapes and shadows, and it really doesn't matter because I know where my toilet is. But my urge to pee is getting stronger now that I'm standing up and I'm ready to go. So I'm getting faster walking. And by the time I reach the toilet room, I'm going at a pretty good clip. So I get one sock-covered foot across the threshold into the toilet room. And that's when I saw him just chilling on the wall there, kind of leering at me, all hairy and spidery. And suddenly, I've never been more awake in my fucking life. I threw myself in reverse, and I was screaming, and I'm backpedaling to save my life, and I looked like the comic books that you're like on marbles or whatever, because socks don't really lend themselves to quick directional changes on tile. So I end up just hitting the ground so hard I couldn't even breathe for like half a second. It was one of those like, oh God, I think I just broke my ass, and then I looked down at my foot, and it's about an inch away from the spider. So I just crab walked like the Exorcist until my back hits the bathtub, across the room. And I just sat there. And it was about then that my heart caught up to what my body had just done and what I had seen. And now my blood's pounding in my ears, and I'm definitely awake, but I'm not. And I definitely have to pee. I'm certain about that. But I just can't figure out what I'm supposed to do. As I'm sitting there thinking about life, I'm trying to work my way through this little puzzle I have here. And if I go get the spray, I'll be traumatized with the screams and the spider death and all that mess for at least 10 minutes. Plus, then I have to go pick up my little buddy, flush him down the toilet. Then I have to go around to everywhere I sprayed, and he ran with a sponge and like 40 gallons of water because I'm terrified my cat's gonna step in the poison and do and then die on me. And then I'd have to go back and towel everything down in case I got back up and I didn't remember the floor was wet and I slipped and died, which would be equally bad. And it's exhausting to have to process all that at 6 o'clock in the morning. But since I'm fairly sure that I had suffered some kind of paralyzation in my butt tumble, and I'm not going to be able to walk for a couple seconds anyway. I figured I could spare the time and kind of logic my way through this. So all the while, I am talking to the spider, and I'm trying to coax him back into the wall. Buddy, just please, just for a minute, and I'll be out of your way, and you can go back to being spidery and hunting whatever you're hunting. He in turn claims immunity per our earlier agreement, and I'm with him on that. We did call a truce, and I'm kind of intruding on his time, and I get what he's saying. So I'm thinking about all this, and I've clearly lost my mind, but I still really have to pee. I mean, it was just I had to go. It's not non-negotiable at this point. And he's not moving. I'm getting a little bit concerned, and I'm looking around for anything to help me, and I saw the bathroom sink. And it was at that exact moment that I had the epiphany people like pray for their whole lives. I knew that the only way either myself or the spider was going to get any rest was for me to just bite the bullet and do something really disgusting. So I dropped my pants, I climbed on the countertop like a little monkey, and I peed in the bathroom sink. I'd like to point out that I at least had, I was at least awake enough to pee in the lesser used of the two sinks. The one I don't use to brush my teeth. It just kind of sits at the end of the bathroom, and I don't really use it for much. So it wasn't altogether disgusting, and I'm sitting there, and that thought came over me as I'm peeing, and I just smiled, and I felt so wise and sage, like a little Yoda sitting on the bathroom sink. And I beat the spider, and I won, and I would be asleep again before I knew it, and I wouldn't have to pee anymore, and yay me. But as I'm sitting there, I got my pants around my ankles, my ass is in the sink, any kind of dignity I had is just gone. And then the realization hits me. I could have killed that furry little bastard weeks ago, the first time I saw him, or at night, right when I walked in the bathroom. I could have picked up my little broken bottom and limped across the house to the guest bathroom, and used that. I could have held my bathroom problem, went back to sleep, hoped for better results in the morning, minus the spider. But all the logic and all the college education and all the job experience and all the everything I've had in my life built up to the point where I thought my best option was to pee in my own bathroom sink. And that, my friends, is just one more reason why I'm still single.